waited in line just to share this experience of Venom, Candyman, Night of the Living Dead, The Rock, Final Destination. But I want you to know you are now entering the
Cinema
Chop Shop. With a top and the pop. Boom, boom, bop.
The Cinema Chop Shop.
What's going on, everybody? It's Davey from the 80s, and you are now entering the Cinema Chop Shop, so park your ass right there. While you're there, don't forget to hit the like, the share, the subscribe button. Also, if you check the link below, you'll see a Patreon account. If you click it, you can become a member. All you got to do is try to recommend movies and music and trailers for me to react to, so click that damn link. Now, with that being said, we're here today with a little bit of horror news. I know I look tired. I am tired. It's been a very long day, but I had to just go ahead and pop in a video, give you guys a little bit of update of what I know so far in the world of horror. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Salem's Lot, the long-awaited Salem's Lot movie that has been pushed back for year after year after year. Warner Brothers, it has been rumored that Warner Brothers is possibly thinking about just eating the loss. The Warner Brothers announced that a lot of movies that were previously announced that they're just going to write them off as tax, like they're just going to do tax write-offs with them, and they're probably never going to see the light of day. This one is Salem's Lot, possibly. I mean, that's what people are rumbling about. And then also Coyote versus Acme. These two movies are the ones that people have been looking at as possibilities for movies that Warner Brothers are going to just chalk up as losses. Now, interesting enough, there was a rumor that Warner Brothers had a screener not too long ago for Salem's Lot to see if there was any crowd reaction to it. Allegedly, the reaction went well, and this was to see if Warner Brothers is willing to throw it on HBO Max. Now, me personally, I think that it should go on to HBO Max, and you guys will get a Salem's Lot review from me very, very soon, because I was one of the fortunate people that saw it early on in the screening process. And if they not planning on showing it, then damn it, I'm gonna just go ahead and review it. So keep a lookout for that. Moving on. Matthew Lillard was being interviewed, and he was asked about his thoughts on Scream 7. Now, we all know that Scream 7, you had Melissa being basically being kicked off the project. Jenna Ortega walked away, the director walked away, and then that whole movie just fell apart. So there is no Scream 7 as of now, but they were a recent article was speaking with Matthew Lillard, and they were talking to him about Scream 7, and he revealed some very, very interesting things. Matthew Lillard talked about how originally the idea was pitched to him for this to be a trilogy, and the trilogy was supposed to conclude with Melissa's character being accepting that dark side. We kind of saw traces of that in Scream 6 at the end of the movie, and the seventh movie is supposed to be her full on just accepting her role as a freaking psychopathic killer. Allegedly, this is what was pitched to Matthew Lillard. Well, they also asked Matthew about what did he think about possibly coming back to the franchise, and this seems like a huge fan theory. A lot of fans they keep pushing this idea. They want Matthew Lillard back. They want Stu back. And Matthew seems 100% on board with coming back. And I mean, no offense, but there's been a lot of very interesting thoughts about how Matthew's character come back. He got in there with a TV. I would assume that he's dead, because those back then, those was the big booty TVs. Those are the ones that had some weight to it. So that fall on your head, you done for, but allegedly he was saying that, hey, I can see my character surviving a TV falling on his head. But I mean, we've seen worse happen. We've seen weirder things happen or stranger things happen in the horror movies. So I mean, it's not too far off to think that Matthew Lillard's character can come back. I think he could, and he would be a really good addition to the franchise. I mean, the people that you had running this movie, or the people that you put the franchise in their hand, you fired one of them, the other one walked away. and you literally been left holding nothing but your balls. So now you're gonna have to pick them up, and you have to figure out what you want to do with this franchise. Me personally, I think they should go on a hiatus. I think that they should just reboot the franchise in the next couple of years. That's just my opinion, but I thought it was very interesting that Matthew Lillard is still showing interest in the Scream franchise. You know that he holds it dear because this dude does so many freaking conventions. And there's so many Scream fans that go out and meet him, and you could tell his appreciation for the franchise is legitimate and honest, and he's a really caring person and a nice person to meet. But again, Matthew Lillard doesn't really need it, especially since now he has Five Nights at Freddy. Five Nights at Freddy is going to be a very lucrative franchise for the next couple of years, and they're going to be able to milk the hell out of that. So I don't really understand. He doesn't really need Scream. So whether they take his idea or not, he ain't missing out on nothing. Moving on, Jason Blum wants Friday the 13th franchise to be on Atomic Monster / Blumhouse merger universe thingy. He wants James Wan to be the one to shepherd it in for them. So apparently James Wan has this huge interest in Friday the 13th. James Wan has been wanting to get his hands on Jason Voorhees for a while. And, Jason Blum's like, hell, I'm with it. Another lucrative franchise for us to possibly murder and do horrible things to. I mean, it is what it is. But remember what I told you guys earlier. Remember I made that video. If you guys haven't seen it, go check it out on my channel. I talked about how Jason Blum wants to make a horror universe, a shared horror universe. What better way to do it than to bring in some of the most biggest heavy hitters that they have out there? So, I mean, it's not far-fetched. It's really not far-fetched. I think there's a really good chance that this could actually happen. I mean, Friday the 13th allegedly is getting a TV show produced by A24. I'm looking forward to that. But let's see what ends up happening. I mean, for now, it's just rumors, but I wouldn't be completely against it. And I mean, the thing about Blumhouse and the thing about I don't want to say Atomic Monster because I don't think Atomic Monster has too many like other properties, but Blumhouse has. The thing about Blumhouse is that Blumhouse has had their share of horror characters and they just haven't done right by them. I think the only one that I can really think of that I feel like they've done real good justice with is I felt like The Invisible Man was done well. But outside of that, I can't really tell you like a Blumhouse project where I'm like, yo, Blumhouse killed that, because Blumhouse had Fantasy Island, right? They had Black Christmas and they butchered those movies. So they don't really have a great track record when it comes to remakes per se or reboots per se, but I mean, I'll give it a shot. At the end of the day, worst case scenario, I hate it and we just go back to the original. It's not really a big deal for me. But Jason Blum apparently wants it and we'll see if he actually gets it. I mean, the Atomic Monster / Blumhouse merger is a big thing in the horror community. And you're going to see there, if anybody's able to do it, that merger is definitely going to be able to do it. So kudos to them. Let's see if they can make it happen. Moving on. Terrifier 3 set photos are released. We see Art the Clown in his iconic Santa Claus suit. And if you've watched the re-release teaser thing at the end of the Terrifier 2 re-release last year, you saw Art the Clown eating his milk and cookies with a bloody Santa Claus outfit. And now we have Art the Clown with his big ass feet busting out of the Santa Claus costume. I mean, these are just a few set photos, but this movie has been filming. It has been in production. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. There's also been rumors, or this has been stated, that Damien Leone isn't doing the makeup for David Howard Thornton's Art the Clown. That's why he kind of looks a little bit different. But it's not a bad different at all. It's actually pretty damn solid. But again, Damien is a great makeup artist. He's a great effects master. I'm looking forward to Terrifier 3. I mean, come on. We don't really get too many Christmas horror movies. And it's really cool that we're going to get Terrifier 3, which is a Christmas horror movie. Then you also got the picture of him, Art the Clown with the kids, just chilling. And it makes you wonder, are they going to go there? You've had people already talking about, if they kill kids, I'm walking out. I will not support a franchise that kills kids. Sorry to tell you this, dude, but the killing of kids in horror movies has been going on since the beginning of time. I mean, I don't really understand what you think, There's not much that's off limits. I mean, it's really not in horror, so I understand what you're looking for. But again, I'm going to look at it. I'm going to see that movie day one. Hopefully, we'll get a trailer soon. I am completely looking forward to it because it is supposed to be released this year in October. Moving on. So, T.I. West wants to continue the X franchise with the fourth film if the third movie does well. So, we all know that Maxine is coming out. There was a rumored release date that released, I think it was today officially, something about July-ish, I think. Let me see. But the point of the matter is that because that release date was leaked, apparently there's like a lawsuit going on around about that. But who knows? So July 5th. July 5th is when Maxine will be released. Am I looking forward to this movie? No. I will see it just because was I was entertained by X. Didn't like Pearl. Thought Pearl was a freaking terrible movie. I don't like Mia Goth. But I was in this movie specifically because I support horror, and who knows, maybe this movie will be good. You never know, right? It could be like that second Annabelle movie that came out that I liked, and all the other ones were trash. But who knows? Again, the point of the matter is that if this movie does well, T.I. West wants to continue Maxine, the Maxine or the X or the Pearl franchise. He wants to continue that. He says he has a really sick idea for the fourth film, but it will only come into fruition if people actually enjoy the movie and if people actually support the movie. The movie's been doing really well. At least Pearl was well received, in my opinion. I feel like a lot of people like that movie. I personally didn't like it, but a lot of people like that movie and they liked it more than X. So most likely people are going to go out and support this movie, and they will end up making a fourth film. I think T.I. West needs to just move on and do something else. That's just my opinion, though. But I mean, hey, Mia Goth is annoying as shit. I said it here, and I stick by that. Moving on. I know. I'm a little bit late. I saw these photos a long time ago, but The Crow, we finally have The Crow set photos released, or we have official photos from The Crow. Now, me personally, I was looking at these photos, and when they had first announced that The Crow was going to come out in a couple of months, I'm like, there's no trailer, there's no footage. I've seen zero test screeners for this thing. What in the world are they? What are they thinking? Like just springing this movie out on people. It's been talked about for a while. People know of its existence, but it just really feels like they just sprang it up on people. And the fact that they sprang it up on people and they threw these images out where bro looks like Machine Gun Kelly. This is one of the most, look, I don't want to say the worst, all right, because we've had worse. But this is a pretty bad Crow design. We got to keep it a buck here. This is a horrible, horrible Crow design. Bro has a mullet, for Christ's sakes. And he's dating FKA Twigs, which I believe is this her first movie role. I like her as a musician. I'm not even gonna lie to you. She makes some really good music, but I don't know if I can kind of take her serious as an actress. I don't know. Maybe she's really good at acting. I've never really seen her act, but hey, we'll see, right? But The Crow, I'm not buying the photos. I don't think the design was a smart idea. It reminds me of Joker from Suicide Squad. I'm just not digging it. Is to me, it looks stupid, man. Like he looks like the homie Derek said he looks like old boy from Chappie. I forgot his name. But you know what I'm talking about. The dude with the mullet. It's the only guy in Chappie. The dude with the mullet. And spot on, dude. Dye that guy's hair black. Looks just like him. But I'm not digging this design, brother. I'm just like, I'm not feeling it. I'm not really into it. So hopefully the trailer wows me because this design fucking sucks. And I don't think it's gonna grow on me. It's not gonna be like, to me, it's not gonna be like Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. Joaquin Phoenix's Joker at design at first, I hated it. Really hated it. And eventually it grew on me. I don't feel the same with this. I don't feel like it's going to grow on me. I don't feel like I'm going to change my mind about it. I'm just not going to like it because the same thing happened with the Joker from the Suicide Squad. I didn't like the design, gave the movie a chance. I still didn't like the design, right? I didn't like the design. I didn't like the character. It felt like Jared Leto was fucking just terrible in that movie. And then they tried to redeem him with that freaking Zack Snyder's Justice League post-apocalyptic Joker, and it was even worse. Like that shit was cringy, but that's a conversation for another day. Anyway, not digging the design. Y'all need to go back to the drawing board. You got 2 months to release, and you guys drop these images on us now. And when people are talking shit about this movie and the design, you have no time to reshoot unless you're going to CGI the makeup and change it out. That's the only way this is going to work. But outside of that, it was a bad mistake, my friend, to go ahead and do that. You fucked up. You should have thought about that before you dropped them pictures. Like they dropped the pictures like it was gonna be something epic. Like people was gonna be like, "Oh shit, that looks tight." Nah, that looked dumb, homie. I don't know who you think you shopping this character to, but you're not shopping this dude to a modern audiences. No modern audience gives a fuck about the Crow, bro. They don't even know who the Crow is. If you're gonna make this movie, you gotta make it for the OGs like myself that love the Crow. But it is what it is. I mean, what can I say? Moving on. Lionsgate wants to remake American Psycho with a modern twist. So right now, apparently Lionsgate is taking scripts from people and they want to see what people can do with the character of Patrick Bateman. Do we really care about an American Psycho remake? Let's be honest here. I mean, American Psycho to me was a good movie. It was fun, right? But and a lot of people deem it as a super classic. I mean, it's not really a super classic to me. I know it's based. Isn't it based? I believe it's based off of a book, if I'm not mistaken. But the point of the matter is, nothing's untouchable in this world. Sure, you could remake it, but at the same time, is that the type of movie that's going to warrant a remake? Like, what can you do differently with this remake that's going to wow an audience? Or are you just trying to introduce this character to a modern audience? Right? Like, what is the plan for this character? I don't really see like much that you could do with Patrick Bateman that's going to make him more interesting to a modern audience. Is going to make him captivating. Like Lionsgate, sure, that's cool. I mean, have fun with it, but I don't think that you're going to be able to win much with this one. Like I said, it's just like the look. As much as I adore the first film for my own reasons, even though it's flawed as hell. Salem's Lot, right? There's just certain movies that don't have marketable value. There's certain films that are cult classics that will never get out of that category. And they're you got to understand, like, there's a difference between an iconic character and a cult classic character, right? Or a cult classic icon. There's some people that just love cult classic icons. Like you have, man, my man up there, right? Harry Warden, right? Super cult classic icon. You put him in front of a modern list, people aren't gonna know who the fuck he is. Cult classic icon, man. So Patrick Bateman to me is a cult classic icon. I don't think he is not a household name in horror. And the fact that they're going to remake this movie, I don't think is going to do as good as they think it's going to do. I think they think it's a high yielding property and it's not. And I think they're going to be really disappointed with the results. Moving on, Doug Bradley, while being interviewed recently, said he's not completely thrown off by the idea of possibly playing Pinhead again. He said, "I never says never," right? I never said I would never do that. He never said he was hanging it up, right? So Doug Bradley is apparently open to playing Pinhead again under specific circumstances. He was talking about how getting into makeup is a young man's game, but how the genre and how the industry has turned a new tide, and it's not as tedious as it used to be, right? A lot of things can be kind of like filled in with CGI and stuff. And that was a conversation that I had with Mike, who played the Chatterer in one of the Hellraiser movies. He talked about how in the new Hellraiser movie, you can see how they kind of like cut corners instead of doing the practical effects to make that one main lead's Pinhead person, to make that person's neck appear to be skinnier by using practical, that they just went the CGI route. And he was saying that that's how companies are cutting corners, and it's a lot less time in the chair, which means that Doug Bradley will be sitting in the chair for less time. It's something that he can actually sit down and do. He's not going to get all cranky and grumpy about it. So, I mean, there's a possibility. Now, the other catch 22 was that if Doug Bradley says he's going to do it, he said that he would like to play an older Pinhead. He wants to play an older Pinhead, and he wants to kind of leave like the one-liners and quippy comebacks or whatever. He wants to leave that alone. He wants to be a dark, gritty, older Pinhead. He referred to Clive Barker's Scarlet Gospels, and he said that that's the kind of Pinhead that he wants, and he wants the Pinhead to appear like, like not even he is immune to time, right? And I think that's a pretty cool idea. I could kind of see an older Pinhead and shit, talking shit to people. So I'm open to the idea. I'm not mad about it, but you just got to get the right script in the hand, because the last couple of Hellraiser movies weren't that great. Me personally, like, I liked elements of Judgment, which was the last one. That was the last movie that was directed by oh, what is homie's name? I forgot his name already, but he was playing the auditor. But damn, I forgot his name. Gary. Anyway, Gary Tunnicliffe. So I liked elements from that movie. I mean, but I didn't really like the ending. The third act wasn't all that. But there was elements in that movie that I really did enjoy. And you just got to get the right script. Like the Hellraiser remake, trash. Like, I didn't really like it. It was really dumb when you break it down to the nitty-gritty. Like, it could have been a really good psychological movie where you had this person who's dealing with addiction, or who's dealing with possibly, relapsing, and also like just the things that come with trying to get clean. And it would have been really interesting to see this person who's a drug addict, try to find out if it's the drugs that she's doing, or is it, is this really what happening? Am I really seeing these Cenobites, or is this the heroin talking? I think that would have been a really interesting avenue to kind of explore versus the one that we ended up getting. But I mean, like I said, we got to see what the script look like. He says Scarlet Gospel, so most of the work is already done for you. The book is already created, so all you got to do is just kind of like interpret that book into a screenplay, and then boom, you're done. Now, final piece of horror news is Final Destination 6, titled The Bloodline, finally going into production, with Tony Todd rumored to be reprising his role as that mortician. We haven't seen a Final Destination movie in a long time, and I think it's been quite enough time has passed to the point where I wouldn't mind watching another Final Destination movie. These movies used to come out so often, so back to back. The idea kind of became repetitive and annoying. It's like the Purge movies, like the Saw movies. Once you see it too many times, you kind of get bored of it. So I think they did a smart job by pumping the brakes and stopping the franchise for a while. But so I can actually see myself going to go watch these movies, right? This is not a bad idea to go ahead and continue it. But the idea is that the bloodline is supposedly the bloodline of people, I guess, that were affected in one of these damn movies is carrying the scent or something, or I don't know, something like that. But death is apparently following their kids or something. I don't know. Somebody in one of these movies fucked up. They thought they survived, and now their kids are about to suffer down the road. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they said that this one is going to be taking place on a boat. Cool idea. Not gonna lie, I thought that was pretty interesting. But we'll see when we cross that bridge. But are you guys interested in seeing Final Destination 6? I think enough time has passed by to the point where I could deal with another viewing of one of these movies. What you guys think? Are you guys excited about any of this movie horror news that I told you about? What do you think about what Matthew Lillard said? Is it a possibility of him returning as Stu? Or did you like the idea of Melissa whatever Barrera going full on psycho? Do you like the idea of the Atomic Monster slash Blumhouse Studios possibly getting Jason Voorhees, Friday the 13th? How are we feeling about that? Do we think it's a good idea? How'd you guys like them Terrifier 3 set photos? Were they cool? Did it look cool? You interested in seeing it? Are you guys going to be front row and center watching it in October? What about T.I. West wanting to make another damn sequel to Maxine? Do we think that this man needs to hurry up and find another original idea? Or are we cool with the Crow? How you feeling about them images? You think he looks stupid? I think he looks stupid. He looked like trailer park trash to me. Or how you guys feeling about Lionsgate wanting to remake American Psycho? Do we think that's a good idea? Do we care enough about Patrick Bateman's character to really think that he needs to be rebooted to a modern audience? How about Doug Bradley, old ass, trying to still play Pinhead? How are we feeling about that? We think the man still got the juice and he's able to let it loose? Or how are we feeling about Final Destination 6 Bloodline? Do we think enough time has passed by for us to actually enjoy another sequel? Let me know in the comment section down below. And you are now exiting the Cinema Chop Shop. Hope you guys have a magnificent day. And adios, homies. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that damn button on the way out. Peace.
I want to play a game. Subscribe now. The choice is yours. You're now exiting the Cinema Chop Shop.